Managing a private practice or a med spa is not just about providing exceptional patient care. It's also about managing your team efficiently. Unfortunately, many practices overlook the crucial HR aspect that can lead to high turnover, low morale, and even legal issues. In this video, we're going to cover the 5 most important HR mistakes that many practices make, and more importantly, how you can avoid them to create a thriving, well-managed team. So let's begin. Mistake number 1, inadequate hiring processes. The problem with this is you're not providing a clear description of their job descriptions or requirements, or you're rushing through the hiring process and you're failing to recruit the right person for the job. Now, usually this is done by the physician or the office manager if they have one. And those people have a million other things to do besides posting a job, going through all the candidates, and let's face it, most of them aren't even qualified, and then finally hiring someone. So then the interview process can get rushed, and therefore you tend to not vet candidates properly. So what happens when you do that? Well, you're going to get high turnover, you're going to have poor performance, or they don't even fit the culture of your practice. And again, it's probably because they weren't even qualified to be there in the first place. So what's the solution to this? Number 1, develop a structured hiring process with clear definitions of what their job requirements are. Number 2, set aside time each day to work on hiring and interviews and background checks. Number 3, involve key members in hiring decisions. And number 4, your other option would be just to hire a recruiting company like ours, where we do everything on the front end for you, and all you have to do is look through the final candidates and make a final decision. Okay, the number 2 mistake is lack of proper onboarding. The problem with this is that many new hires feel lost or overwhelmed due to inadequate training. This also can include failing to introduce your newest team member to the other people on their team. The consequence to not onboarding correctly is going to be lower productivity and higher earlier turnover. So what's the solution to this? Number 1, create a comprehensive 60-day onboarding plan. This slowly gives new hires a plan and gives new hires time to learn what to do and how to do them. Next, pair them with a mentor. Pair them with somebody you think they would get along with, someone to show them the ropes and introduce them to other people. Number 3 is going to be set clear expectations and provide regular feedback during the first 30, 60, and 90 days. Make sure you go over what their goals are every month. Number 3, the big mistake here is going to be poor performance management. The problem with this is you lack poor performance reviews or feedback. And number 2, you're having a hard time talking to them about things that they're not doing right. When you do or don't do these things, you will have unresolved issues that are going to lead to a decrease in staff motivation and productivity, high turnover for your good employees, and it's going to disrupt your overall team dynamic. So what's the solution? Well, you're going to need to implement regular performance evaluations with clear, constructive feedback. Provide forms for the employees so that they know what they're doing well and what they can improve on. Number 2, provide a performance improvement plan for struggling employees and make sure they sign it. Make sure you're telling them that they don't have to agree with this, but they understand that this is a problem in your eyes and they need to correct it. Then give them 2 weeks to correct it. And if they don't, you need to write them up again. And if they do it a 3rd time, it's time to fire them or let them go, however you want to. Also, number 3, make sure you recognize and reward high-performing employees. Some ideas you could do to reward them could be higher pay, maybe give them a new title like a manager, maybe a job promotion, verbal recognition, or even a small gift. Those are a few ideas of things you can do. Your number 4 biggest mistake is going to be to ignore your employees' well-being and burnout. The problem with this is you're having overworked staff, or you're failing to recognize signs of burnout due to not promoting a healthy work environment. So then what happens? Again, this is going to lead to high staff turnover, low morale, and compromised patient care. So what's the solution to this? I suggest you encourage breaks and manage workloads. Pay attention to overworked staff. You might need to hire a new person. Number 2, provide mental health resources for your employee, or maybe even employee wellness program. And number 3, foster a supportive work environment where your staff feels valued. Your number 5 biggest mistake is going to be insignificant communication with your staff. And this one's huge. Your problem here is that you have a lack of transparency with upper management down to lower employees. So they don't understand what your goals are, your policies, or any changes that need to be made. Your number 2 is going to be failing to keep your staff informed of what's going on in the practice or any new things that are happening. And number 3 is going to be you're failing to listen to their feedback. So the consequences of these things are there's lots of confusion, there's lots of frustration, you have low morale in the practice, and there's a disconnect amongst your team. Also, it decreases trust and engagement, which leads to, again, low morale and productivity. So what's the solution to this? You need to hold monthly or quarterly regular meetings. Here is where you can share updates and gather feedback. You should also have an open door policy. You want your employees to feel valued and heard. It's also a way for you to get feedback from your employees. Another thing you can do is provide clear communication channels like emails or chat communication. So again, running a successful practice isn't just about patient care. It's about creating a strong and motivated team behind the scenes. By avoiding these common HR mistakes, you can build a healthier workplace and set your practice up for long-term success. If you're looking to strengthen your practice even further, check out this video on how to create a business plan for private practices. It's packed with insight on how to set yourself up strategically and avoid costly downfalls. And if you face any of these HR challenges and you're not really sure how to fix it, then schedule a one-on-one call with me. The link is in the description. See you in the next video.